God put his thumb mark, his signature, his imprint in there by saying that I am the Lord your God. You see, there's a clear distinction between charity and gleaning. So charity is people voluntarily giving to others who are in need. That is a noble thing. But that's not what Leviticus is talking about here. So the idea behind the principle of gleaning is that landowners, they have the obligation to provide the poor and alien access to the property and land and to work it themselves. That's the idea of the gleaning. Okay? This is not dependent on the generosity of the landowners. Rather, God, who is the ultimate provider, commanded them, such that the poor earned their living the same way as the landowners did, by working the fields with their own hands. Amazing, right? God provides for his people. Continuing on, Ruth chapter 2, verse 3b, as it turned out, okay, you can see there, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. Just then, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. The Lord be with you, the Lord bless you, they answered. You notice something in there? As it turned out. In some other versions, actually, in NASB version, it says, she happened to come to the portion of the field. She happened. Or in the case of verse 4 in NASB, it says, now behold, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem. As it turned out, she happened to come just then. Is it by sheer happenstance? Is it by absolute coincidence? Or is it by accidents? Or even luck? That out of Ruth's desperation for the basic needs of sustenance, that her path would cross with that of Boaz, the only one who can redeem her. And I mean the only one, for there's no one else. We will learn about that in the coming Sundays. Is it by happenstance? Is it just by luck? Time and time again, we have been reminded from this pulpit that the word luck should not exist from a believer's vocabulary. But we still continue to hear from God's children the expression of good luck. However predisposed the intentions may have been. Kuya Mark Di Pasupol is is trying to get an interview for a PA, and we would sometimes say, hey Kuya Mark, good luck on your PA interview. Good luck is attributing success or failure that to be brought about by chance. Where chance is considered as a force that causes good or bad things to happen. Good luck actually is a line of thinking that borderlines in the Eastern religious belief of karma. Yes, there was something supernatural that was at work in the life of Ruth and Boaz. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. The psalmist declares, the steps of a man are established by the Lord, and he delights in his ways. In Proverbs it says, the mind of man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. You see, church, it was appointed by God that Ruth would come to the field of Boaz, and Boaz would arrive from Bethlehem at the time that Ruth was there. We need to see it is clear display of the sovereignty of God in the lives of his people, in our lives. One other thing is that the Bible did not specify that Boaz was married. It may be because he was not. But we realize that he was a wealthy man, and if he's rich, and if he's a bachelor, and if he's eligible, how come he is unmarried? It's probably because God preserved Boaz for something that is bigger in his life. I don't know. One thing I can say though, that you all of you, all of us here today are also not an accident. You are not an accident. You exist and you are here by God's appointment. You are here by God's appointment. That was my prayer earlier, that our ears will be opened and our eyes will be opened so that we will hear the message that God has individually for each and every one of us today. Today. He has a message for you today. Verse 4 also showed why Boaz was described as a worthy man. He is not only a man of wealth, more importantly, he was a man of God. He greeted his servants, "The Lord be with you." I hope and pray that for all of us who have our own business, that we will follow this example, that when we come to our office, "The Lord be with you." My brothers and sisters, the Lord be with you. Verse 5, Boaz asked the overseer of his harvesters, "Who does that young woman belong to?" The overseer replied, "She is the Moabite who came back from Moab with Naomi." She said, "Please let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters." She came into the field and has remained here from morning till now, except for a short rest in the shelter. From this verse here, we can see further traits of Ruth's character, right? First of all, she was humble. She was unassuming. She made her intentions clear and asked politely, even though as a foreigner and as a destitute, she had the right to glean in any field. She had the right to do so. All she wanted was to gather the leftovers after the harvesters are done. And she even asks permission to do that. This reminds me of another foreign woman in the New Testament. In the book of Matthew 15, the story of the Canaanite woman whose daughter was demon-possessed, and she asked Jesus to heal her. Jesus did not answer, but she continued to ask. And Jesus said, "It is not right." Listen to this. Jesus said, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." At which the woman responded, "Yes, Lord. Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." And Jesus commended her faith and healed her daughter. Such a powerful act of faith. Ruth was also industrious. She was not lazy. She worked throughout the day because her effort was a reflection to her commitment to provide for her mother-in-law, Naomi. Continuing on, Ruth, verse 8, chapter 9. So Boaz said to Ruth, "My daughter," and that is a term of endearment. "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting, and follow along after the women. I have told the men not to lay a hand on you, and whenever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled." First of all, we started earlier saying that Ruth was a destitute. And destitute means lack of basic necessities. Boaz showed great kindness to Ruth. And even though she was a foreigner, especially from a country that is a known enemy of Israel, he provided her food by telling her not to go to another field and to stay with the women who work for him. Come over every day, you can get as much, you can glean as much as you want. He provided her protection by telling the man not to bother her or molest her. He provided to ease her thirst by telling her to drink from the water jars the men have filled. In short, what did Boaz did was that she is no longer a destitute. Right there and then, her basic needs have been met. Boaz promised her protection. Boaz promised her food. Boaz promised her to fill her thirst. We get to this point, the central passage of our message this morning, which is the main exchange between Ruth and Boaz. In verse 10. All the kindness that Boaz showed to Ruth triggered a profound question from her. In fact, one that all of us should be asking our Redeemer as well. All of us should be asking this question. At this, she bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked him, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner?" Picture of asking this question to your Redeemer, to your Lord. "Lord, why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, your enemy, a foreigner in your kingdom?" You see, there's nothing more important in our life than our Lord's answer to this question. There's nothing more important. For Ruth, she knew that she was a Moabitess, and from a natural perspective, she had everything going against her being in Israel. Her race, being a Moabitess, her culture, coming from a pagan background. Remember, Pastor did talk about this. Moabites are the people who actually sacrifice their own children, right? So she came from a pagan culture. Her social status, she was a destitute, and even her gender, being a woman at the time, she did not expect to be showered such kindness by Boaz. And then we continue on. Boaz replied, "I've been told about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with the people you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." Remember Ruth's question? "Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me a foreigner?" And then notice Boaz's response, which was actually not an answer to her question of why. Right? He didn't answer her question. He showed her grace and kindness, and his grace was unconditional, notwithstanding that she was a Moabitess. He told her that he was aware of the choices she made for her mother-in-law and how she left behind family and land and everything that is comfortable and familiar to her to live with a people she did not know. He knew about that. Okay? Now, verse 11 might come across to some, if not most of us, that Boaz was kind of repaying Ruth for the sacrifices she made to Naomi. Right? If you read about that, said, I'm trying to repay you for what you have done to your mother. No. First of all, Boaz doesn't have any reason to do that. Why would Boaz repay Ruth for the kindness she did to Naomi? He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have any reason. In fact, he does not owe Ruth anything because of her kindness to Naomi. And remember that they just met that day. So why would he be so kind? Why? Because in verse 12, Boaz describes the ultimate source of this kindness and favor. And it emanates from the God of Israel himself. Why? Because Ruth chose to take refuge under his wings. That was the whole reason. Boaz recognized that he is only a vessel of this favor toward a foreigner, toward a destitute, toward a widow. You see, the implication of verse 12 for us is that God is the one who will reward Ruth and who will reward us because she sought refuge if we seek refuge under his wings. Why will God show mercy and grace to Ruth? Because Ruth made it her resolve to submit herself, to throw herself under the protection of Yahweh, the God of Israel. This was her declaration to Naomi in chapter 1. Remember? She said, "Your God will be my God." She declared that. She has set her heart on God for hope and joy. And when a person does that, God is not only honored, but God's honor is at stake. And then He will be merciful and gracious, showering the person with kindness and favor. Right? When a person When a person sets their heart on God for hope and joy, God is not only honored, but His honor is at stake. And He will be merciful and gracious, showering the person with kindness and favor. You see, this is the message of the Old Testament. This is the message of the New Testament. That God will have mercy on anyone who humbles himself. Like us, like Ruth. And anyone who will take refuge under His wings. The wings of that is the finished work of His Son, Jesus Christ, on the cross. In verse 13, "May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord," she said. "You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I do not have the standing of one of your servants." So Ruth was not only financially and physically destitute, she was also emotionally and spiritually bankrupt. And she found favor and comfort from Boaz, even at her emotional and spiritual depravity. She humbly submitted to the fact that she is not one of Boaz's servants, but more so she doesn't have the same standing as a servant. She was lower than a servant. A servant can depend on his or her master to take care of them, but she didn't even have anyone to depend on. Now she has, and her prayer that she'll continue to have one. Chapter 14, verse 14. "At mealtime, Boaz said to her, 'Come over here, have some bread and dip it in the wine vinegar.' When she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left over. When she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left over. She ate all she wanted and had some left over." Translation, she had some to-go-backs handy. She always goes with the to-go-backs handy. She ate her fill, and whatever was left